Hi friends, welcome back to Literacy. Today we are doing lesson 21, part 1. Go ahead and write that in your CJ. If you need more time, pause the video, but I am going to move on. And I am going to start today by showing you two new phonograms. They are related. All right, this is our first one. I'm going to turn off this light real quick. This has one sound and it says B. Make sure it's B and not B. Okay, this is not B, it's B, B. And then this one down here is related to this one up here. And this says G. It does have a second sound, but we're going to ignore that for right now, okay? So this is G. Again, make sure you're not saying G. All right? G. B. G. So how are these related? They both have a silent vowel in them, which happens to be U, and they're both consonants. Can these be used at the end of a word? No. Why not? Because we know English words do not end in I, U, V, or J. Very good. These phonograms are not used very commonly to spell the sounds B and G. G. It'll take a little practice to make sure we don't say that sound. All right, go ahead and open your workbook to page 147. 147. It should look like this. The phonograms BU and GU. Read the words, underline the phonograms B and G. All right, we have build, built, buy, and ooh, this is a fun word. Do you know what this word is? It's pronounced buoyant. Over here, guilt, guide, guard, guitar, guy, guarantee, guess, guest, and tongue. Very good. All right, really easy workbook page, huh? Now I'm actually going to drill all your phonograms. Let me grab my phonogram cards. Hide my new ones. Somewhere in here. All right. Ready? Try to beat me. Oo, you. Ah, that may be used at the end of English words. Oi, that may not be used at the end of English words. K, two-letter K. Sh. G, very good. Two-letter A, E may be used at the end of English words. The of her. Ah, two-letter ah, that may not be used at the end of English words. Ng, or af, double E, I, that may not be used at the end of English words. Yep, just gotta check that spelling rule. I, three-letter I. Hua, Ez, z. Ch, three-letter ch. The of her, or sorry, bird. Ch, sh. O, two-letter O, that may not be used at the end of English words. Ow, O, that may be used at the end of English words. Ah, O, oo, ow, off. The of hurt. Ow, O, oo, uh. The of search. Oo, o. Ooh. Two-letter oo that may not be used at the end of English words. Yep, I was right. B. Ed, d, t, past tense ending. R. O, oo, that may be used at the end of English words. C. Oi, two-letter oi, that may be used at the end of English words. A, E, used at the beginning of a base word or the end of a syllable. No, sorry, only at the end of a base word or before a T. A, two-letter A, that may not be used at the end of English words. N, two-letter N, used only at the beginning of a base word. N, two-letter N, used at the beginning or the end of a base word. E, A. Were, A, two-letter A, that may be used at the end of English words. Awesome job. All right, let's close our book for a second. I want to show you this phonogram. What sounds does this phonogram make? Y, I, E, very good. Which sound is the consonant sound? That first one, which is Y, very good. Why is this one a consonant sound? Because the teeth and the tongue are blocking the sound. It cannot be sung or sustained. And the other sounds, I, E, are what? Vowels. Very good. So now we're going to do a workbook page that has to do with this phonogram. Turn to page 148. 148, right here. Y at the end of a word. So I will say a word that ends with single vowel Y. Listen to which sound the letter Y is saying and write it in the correct column in your workbook. Okay? All right. First one is cry. Cry. That belongs here. And heavy. Heavy. Saying the E sound there. Copy. Copy. Hear my dog barking in the background. Fly. Fly. my, lady, lady, baby, baby, try, try, dry, dry, why, why, story, story, study, study, good. What do you notice about these words? You're right, we don't have any words where Y says at the end of the word. What is similar about all of the words where Y says long I? What do you notice? They're all, how many syllables do all these words have? Just one syllable, good. So Y says I at the end of a one syllable word. Let's write that little note. One syllable. Good. Are there any one syllable words where Y says the E sound? No. Good. So we have a spelling rule to go along with this. This is the spelling rule. Spelling rule 6. When a one-syllable word ends in a single vowel Y, it always says I. Let's repeat after me. When a one-syllable word ends in a single vowel Y, it always says I. It kind of rhymes. It's fun, huh? Good. You can close your workbook real quick. I'm going to get out my whiteboard and I'm going to write a word on it. What do you think of that? Why don't we spell cry like this? Because English words do not end in I, U, V, or J. So which phonogram do we use instead of I to say long I sound? We use Y, so which is y, I, E. Very good. So we have cry. I and Y have a special relationship in English. Often, Y stands in for I at the end of a word. What do words where Y says the long E sound have in common? Remember? It's a multi-syllable word when that happens. Very good. So I will say 4 more words. In your workbook, which you can open again, open your workbook to page 148. So I'm going to say 4 more words and write them in the correct column, okay? So the first word is apply, apply. And I'm going to write them in a different color. Reply, reply. Next is supply, supply. And last is simplify, a word you'll hear a lot in math. Simplify. So, what does Y say at the end of these multisyllable words, these ones I wrote in pink, but are in this column? Why do you think? Recall that syllables and words in English have varying amounts of stress. When a syllable is more stressed, the vowel sound is said more loudly and more clearly. When you say a vowel sound, how does your mouth change? Do you remember? Your mouth opens wider. It's larger. Therefore, one way to test which syllable has the most stress is to place your hand under your chin as you say the word and feel which syllable makes your mouth open the largest. Look at that, largest. The stressed syllable there is large. My mouth opens so much wider. Place your hand under your chin and say each of the words in right here, these words. Actually, let's do them all. Let's do all the words. And then we're going to mark the stress syllable with a red stress mark, okay? And I'll show you what that looks like. I'm actually going to do mine in blue just so you can see it. You can do it with your pencil, that's fine. Just know that the symbol we use is the stress mark, okay? Here, we'll write it up here. So this little kind of dash is the stress mark, all right? So first word, cry. Obviously, there's only one syllable, but my mouth did open really large. So we're going to put that little stress mark there. Try. I skipped. Whoops. Fly. My. Dry. Why. All right, ready? Here's the fun ones. Apply. Reply. Supply. So we can really see that Y is the stressed vowel in these words. Simplify. Again, super stressed there. All right, we're going to have some differences over in this column. Ready? Let's start with the first word. Heavy. Look at my mouth again. Heavy. When did my mouth open the largest? After hev. So with the syllable, the stressed syllable is heavy. Remember, our syllables are hev-e, heavy. So we're going to mark that at the end of the first syllable. All right, let's do copy. Ready? Copy. Cop-e. Good. Cop. Lady. It's Sorry, let's do that again. Lady. Lady. Next is baby. Stress syllable. Next, story. Last one, stud-y. Stud-y. After stud. Good. So what do you notice? I notice that when a word ends with single vowel Y in a stressed syllable, it says I. When a word ends with single vowel Y in an unstressed syllable, it says E. So you can see Y is at the end of all these words, and it's the unstressed syllable, right? Because that mark is for the first syllable. So these are all saying E. When a word ends with Y, and it is the stressed syllable, it says I. So cool. So we have a spelling rule for that. It is spelling rule 7.1. Y says long E only in an unstressed syllable at the end of a multi-syllable word. Repeat after me, okay? Y says long E only in an unstressed syllable at the end of a multi-syllable word. Very good. So, does Y always say I at the end of a one-syllable word? Yes, it does. Does Y always say E at the end of a multi-syllable word? No. It says E in an unstressed syllable and I in a stressed syllable. Nicely done. Okay. All right, let's close our book again and put it aside. I'm going to get out my whiteboard. You don't have to do anything yet. Just pay attention. All right, I'm going to write a word after I say it, okay? So the first word is dry. And the next word is toy. All right, so dry, toy. What is different about the Y in each of these words? The Y in dry is a single vowel Y. The Y in toy is part of a multi-letter vowel, right? Oi, oi as in boy, oi that may be used at the end of English words. Okay, now I am going to write all the phonograms which include a Y, okay? So we have regular Y, we have OY, we have AY, and we have EY. All right. I'm going to say a word that ends with one of these phonograms. I want you to point, maybe on your screen, or you can just say it out loud, to the phonogram that is at the end of the word. Okay, so tell me then, is it multi-letter or single letter? All right, so the first word is fly. Which one do we use to spell fly? That one, very good. And is it a single letter or a multi-letter vowel? Single letter, very good. What about copy? This one again. So it's again, single letter vowel, very good. What about boy? This one, very good. And is this single letter or multi-letter vowel? It's a multi-letter vowel, very good. What about play? play. This one. And is this single or multi-letter? It's another multi-letter vowel. Very good. What about baby? Baby. This one, good, single letter vowel. What about they? They. This one, and this is a multi-letter vowel. Last one, cry. Cry. Good. So another single letter vowel. So this is a single letter vowel, and these are all multi-letter vowels. Very good. All right, go ahead, get your workbook back out. I know I keep telling you, put it away, grab it, put it away, grab it. That's just how the lesson goes sometimes. And we're going to turn to page 149. 149. So it should look like this. All right, you're going to need a highlighter or your pencil if you don't have one. Just box around it. Highlight all the single letter vowel Y's, and then we're going to underline the first letter of the suffix. Okay, so they did the first one for us. They highlighted fry and then underlined that I. All right, let's keep going. Single letter vowel Y's. Let's highlight all of those. All right, and now we're going to underline the first letter of the suffix. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Awesome. Okay. Now we're going to go down here. All right, so similar concept. We're going to highlight the single letter vowel Y's. Step 2, if the Y changes, highlight the vowel that Y changes into. Okay. If it changes, only if it changes. Step 3, underline the first letter of the suffix. And then step 4, study the suffixes in both groups. So this part and this part. When does Y change and when does it stay the same? All right, let's go through. Let's highlight all the single vowel Y's. Let's re-highlight the one that they did for us. Looking for all the single vowel Y's. All right, I think I got them all. Step 2, if the Y changes, highlight the vowel that Y changes into. So for example, in dry and the word is drier, and Y changes to I. All right, here, let's see, it looks like Y changed to I again. Here it changed here, here, and here. All right. And now we're going to underline the first letter of the suffix. Okay. Go ahead and study these for a second. Pause the video to study them and come back when you notice something. I notice what it is. All right, are you ready? What do you notice about these words? I notice that the Y is changed to I when adding suffixes that start with vowels and consonants, but not with suffixes that start with I. Do you see how all of these suffixes start with I? So we don't have two I's next to each other in a word. We leave that Y the same. But down here, the Y changes to I because none of these suffixes start with an I. Interesting. All right, I have a rule to show you. Rule 15. Single vowel Y changes to I when adding any ending unless the ending begins with I. And I have another one. Two I's cannot be next to one another in English words. Wow. All right, look back down here. Read the words on the bottom, so this part. After you read each word, tell me what sound the single vowel Y is saying, and then what sound the I it changed to is saying. So let's do this one. We have dry, so dry says the I sound, and then drier also says the I sound. Okay, cool. Cry says I. Cried also says I. Deny says I. Deniable says I also. Study ends in the E sound. Studied, it's also saying the E sound. Happy makes the E sound. Happiness makes the E sound as well. Penny says the E sound. And penniless also says the E sound. So what do you notice? The I says the same sound as the Y said in the original word. That makes it so easy for us when we're reading. Turn your workbook page. Awesome. All right, over here, I want you to add the suffix to the base word and write the new word. So we have copy plus and that becomes copier. Remember, because the suffix does not say or does not start with I, that Y changes to I. Okay, let's do two more together and then I'll have you pause the video. All right, ugly plus est becomes ugliest. Easy plus becomes easier. Let's do one more. And study plus ing, notice that this one starts with an I, becomes studying. All right, go ahead, pause the video, and when you come back, I'll have the answers for you to check. Pause the video. All right, you're ready for the answers? There you go. All right, pause the video to check your answers, and when you're ready, play again. And I have one more thing to do with you. All right, ready? I'm going to keep going. Okay, so go ahead and close your workbook for now. We might come back to it. Don't get mad at me. All right, so I'm going to say a word. I want you to write it down. If you have two different colors, that's awesome, and you can write the vowels in a different color. If not, just underline the vowels in your pencil, okay? I have two different colors, so I'm going to write my vowels in red. The first word is copy. So we have C, O, P, Y. How many syllables are in the word copy? 2, very good. Go ahead and put a line between the syllables. I'm going to use a third color just because I have them, but you don't have to. All right, that's our syllable breaker right there. Why does the syllable divide after the P? The first vowel is ah, right? And that's short. Short vowels are closed, remember? All right. What happens if I add this phonogram to the word? What happens if I add that phonogram to the word? The word becomes what? Copied. Very good. And what happens to that Y? Y changes to I. Good. All right. So now I'm going to write the new word underneath it. Okay. So I'm going to go boop and boop. And my new word becomes good. And notice that I did not write that E in red. That's because it's part of the ED phonogram. Okay, so what sound is I-E-ya making in the word copied? It's making the E sound. Very good. Let's write that down. I says the long E sound. Good. Why does Y say the long E sound there? Because single vowel Y in copy says E, and when it changes to I, it also says E, right? It doesn't change. We just learned that. Very good. What sound is the phonogram edit making in the word copied? D. Very good. Is D voiced or unvoiced? It's voiced. Very good. Why is edit saying it's voiced sound? Because the sound before it, E, is a voiced sound. Very good. Look at the word copy again. How would you change this to copies? So I made copies for my class, or my little sister always copies me. Single vowel Y would change to I. Very good. And since the new suffix es does not begin with I, it gets changed to I. And then we make it plural with es. Very good. Let's write the word copies. Good. How many syllables are in the word copies? 2. Good. Draw another line in between the syllables. You would go right there. Very good. Why does the syllable divide after the P? The first vowel is ah, which is short. Short vowels are always closed. Very good. What do you notice about the I and Y in copies? Y changed to I, and the Y said E, and I also said E, right? Copy, copies. The sound stays the same. Very good. I'm going to write Oh, sorry, one more thing. How many vowels are in copies? How many written vowels are in copies? 1, 2, 3. We have 3. What is the problem with copies? The word has 2 syllables, but it has 3 written vowels. So I'm going to write ES, okay? What sound is ES saying, suffix, saying in copies? It's saying the Z sound. Good. Is that voiced or unvoiced? That's a voiced sound. So I'm going to write that it may say Z. When the suffix es is added to words, it sometimes acts like a phonogram that says Z. So when es says Z, is it a vowel or a consonant? It's a consonant. Very good. I'm going to write some more examples where es says Z. Ready? The word tries. Another one. Ready? Lilies, like the flower. Here's another one. Skies. And I have one more. Ponies. So, a lot of times, es may say the Z sound. And you can see that a lot of these words, or at least lilies and ponies, also has 3 vowels in it. All right. I am all done with you today. You can do your form, and I will see you next class. All right? Bye.